Hello and welcome to this episode of the Adventures of the Windswift. Well, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let someone speak for me. And the Dice of Destiny says that the person who does the recap is Simon. What happened in last week's episode?
Last week, Blackstone learned that he is surrounded by idiots. Honestly, though, what happened last week is we had arrived at the prison and were going our merry way, splitting in all directions possible. Some people went and made sure that our prisoner, Hunkin, is safe and sound behind bars. Other people went to the local library and trying to find out information about the place, and also, quenching the curiosity. Other people again went to the kitchen to eat. And the doctor tried to talk with other doctors about possible problems that be inside the facilities, and quickly found out that some symptoms are vomiting and caustic substances, and also with side effects of draconic heritage, possibly. Other than that, we somehow succeeded and ended up having weapons and trying to get to the engineering room, which is currently under control of the vomiting gnome dragon midget things.
Midget zombies.
And we ended up standing in front of a big door that is of stone and was going to get smashed in pieces, and we needed to get past that. So,
That's it, exactly. So all five of you are standing in front of this large door. There's two terrified guards standing next to you, and the one looks up and says, "We were transferring it from its holding facility to the recreational area, and then all the lights went out, and that was it. It got free, and we got through the doors and sealed them just before it realized what was going on."
What is it?
Yeah, this is not the time to play the pronoun game.
No, his name's Freddy.
Still not telling me what I need to know.
It's a golem of some kind. I think golem. Anyway, he gets angry, and when he's angry, you can't do nothing with him. But he doesn't like fire, so just...
Look, can he get through that door? Can he break that down?
Look at the door. It's already breaking.
Yes,
it doesn't matter. We need to get through it.
Yes, but if it's going to break down, open it now before
Open
it
the
breaks.
door. Yes,
We're
agreed.
able to close it again.
All right, we'll do our best. They slam their hand against the door. This time, the door opens maybe a couple inches. You get a sense that the magic that's been piped through the entire prison is slowly sort of running out. Anyway, as the door opens those first few inches, you suddenly see, standing a good 19 foot up, so right at the top of the door, you see this big bloody eye being pressed up against the doorway, and this very harsh, badly stitched and sewn flesh surrounding the eyeball as it looks out into your light that you've cast on your weapons, because there is no natural light.
I produce a flame in my hands.
The eye... It's hard to imagine. It opens slightly wider, and you hear this very low whimper, followed by what sounds like a blot, or it sounds like a bucket of water, basically sloshed out onto the floor on the other side of the door, and that eye pulls back from it.
Frank?
He just shat himself.
Frank? Is that you?
Freddy.
Freddy.
Sorry, Freddy.
It's Freddy.
Freddy?
It's all right.
Now, Freddy, we have something of an emergency on, which has nothing to do with you. So if you could just step aside and calm down, we'll sort this all out and everything will be back to normal. All right?
That's a lot of weight.
No fire.
That's
Well,
fine.
no fire as long as you stay
behave
calm.
yourself. Yes, listen to the nice Cathar here.
I'm
All
very
right.
nice. I don't have any fire.
All right. So who's going to try? You can slip through that. You're going to have to. You're going to have to pull the one side open.
I go through. I have the light. I go through first.
So, Freddy, well, we agreed. I can put the fire away, and you'll behave yourself.
Yes.
Good. That's a sport. We'll sort this all out, and everything will be back to normal, and you can go outside again, or whatever it is you do for recreation. I remove
Play.
There you go.
Yes.
I'll even give you a ball.
And Jorek glances at Khan and says, "Not the approach I would have chosen, but good work."
All right.
Follow Blackstone.
Blackstone, you're going to try and get these guards to help you pull this door open. It's this large stone thing. The magic is not pulling it anymore. So 2 guards are going to help you. Anybody else going to help Blackstone pull this door open?
I don't think he wants my help. It's like,
Yeah, I put my flame away. And
All right, so give me a strength check, if you please, Blackstone, as you haul on this door. One guard doesn't help. The other guard, the 2 of you kind of flex your muscles and pull this door. It moves another 4 or 5 inches, which is enough to create a gap for you to be able to slip through sideways.
All right, that's good enough.
All right, so you're stepping
Ready?
in.
I'm coming through now.
Play. Is all.
No play.
play later. Remember what we agreed? You behave and no fire. And play later. Once we've sorted out all this fuss.
All right, you hear the sort of padding sound. It sounds like someone's slapping 2 cows against the floor as it moves backwards, you think, from the doorway. Blackstone, you slide in between this gap and your sword illuminates. You can see that this area is actually quite a large space. Cages may have been here once before, but what's happened is it's been converted into almost a garden-like space. There are a few bedraggled trees which don't seem to have been doing very well here, but there is a patch of sort of soggy ground, and you get the sense that this 100-foot by 50-foot space is a sort of a recreational area. That's the sort of the sense that you get. You can give me a perception check as you move through. Everyone can, as a matter of fact, as you all start to file into this
16.
space. Right.
I'm kind of just focused on the golem because I rolled a...
I rolled a 3.
19.
All right.
I mean, even with my perception, that's still
That's 12.
5.
So it is only Adrasai and Blackstone who actually see the golem. The rest of you are hyper-focused on where the hell is the golem, and surely it can't be that difficult to miss. The only challenge is that Blackstone, as you are moving through the door, you realize that maybe it's not standing next to you, maybe it's above you, and you look up. And you can see there's this 15-foot tall, 16-foot tall humanoid crouched up in the very back corner of the door and the ceiling and the wall, holding himself in place with these massive hands. But the whole thing, it looks like a gigantic human, but he's got stitches everywhere. And no piece of skin bigger than a meter doesn't have stitches sewing it to the next piece. Right. And with this sort of very deformed face, and it's crouched up in the corner, looking very, very nervous, very, very, very terrified, as a matter of fact. And every now and again, this gob of drool dribbles out the side of its very deformed mouth and plunges to the ground, and that's that sort of sploshing sound that you hear just because of the sheer size of it.
I get my umbrella out.
As it's kind of crouched there. So your light only shines 20 foot in any one particular direction.
I think it's 40, 20 foot bright and then...
20 foot bright and then 40 foot dim, correct, yes. So that's what you can see of him, and then you can see a bit of that garden. And yes, so you just carry on going?
Yeah.
All right. So everyone's
I have...
through...
Sorry.
Yeah?
I half turn and sort of, hi, before I move on.
Oops. Because it's lifting its hand away from the wall to wave. So the whole thing just drops to the floor. And there's a sort of clatter of limbs and arms and hand. The three of you are now very aware that he was right there. As sort of Blackston is now heading off. I'm assuming you're running, Blackston. Yes.
I would be waiting for everybody to get through because it's slower.
Yeah.
But then, yeah.
Right.
As soon as everyone is through, Jorik follows Blackston.
Yes. So it falls in a great big mess, and you can hear it moaning, kind of going, "Ow!"
No.
Are you okay? I mean,
He's fine. Keep moving.
Saket!
yes.
Move!
Bye. I'll come back. And then start running.
That moaning starts to turn. It starts to turn into muttering.
Uh-oh.
Crap.
And that muttering, then there starts to be a pounding happening on the concrete floor, on the stone floor, as it's beating its fist against the floor.
Everybody move.
You're all running as fast as you can. You've got a distance of 100 foot to cover, which doesn't take you too long. Are you running as well? Or you are? All right. Okay, so you're running as well. So all of you are fleeing. Yes, Con?
Slightly distracted, but running.
Saket, that little fire trick is the extent of my pyromancy. I suggest if things go bad, you don't hesitate to use yours. Thank you.
Okay. Flaming sphere.
Not yet.
Right. So you start to
Not yet.
Right, so you start to get your catalog. You get to the other side, and the other side also has a very similar large stone door on that side. There aren't any guards on this side. What you do notice is that there is a very red puddle of bits of flesh and bone at the base of the door. And then about halfway up, you can see another smear of bits of guard and human that have been sort of basically slammed into this wall and door a couple times. But that's it. So you put your hand against the door. Again, the door opens just that much as it's running out of power. From behind you, you can hear that beating of the fist has stopped, and it's gone very quiet.
Right. I think we've got about 3 seconds before the massive explosion tantrum happens. So shall we, let's go.
Yes.
All right. So Blackston, Connor, whoever's pulling on the door, I need those checks again.
I hand over my spear. Here, use this as a lever.
That's, 20.
Oh, you have an L.
All right. So we've got 20 from Con. Blackston, what did you get?
10.
With the spear, you have advantage. Sorry. 12. All right. So with you and Con seems to be a little bit more motivated than you do at this moment in time. Possibly because you're trying not to break Jorik's spear. I don't know. As you sort of levering on this thing. Con, you managed to open it up. You opened it up about half a foot. I'm going to need initiatives from everyone because you suddenly become aware of this thumping, padding sound rushing towards you. Jorik is having fun there.
18.
Nice. Blackston, you slip through.
22.
Adressai, they slip through without any problems whatsoever.
20.
Saket
Unnatural.
literally does, it almost looks like she does a half step and a dance through the doorway. Con?
15.
All right, Con, you get to the side of the door. Are you going to wait for Jorik or not?
Yeah.
Jorik, what did you get?
I don't know. I think I'm freezing up in a corner because I rolled a 1. So 5.
You're like, it's too much everything. Right. So yes, Con, you see Jorik has literally frozen on the spot. And
That's on theme.
It is on theme. It is.
the dice know. The dice know. So you see him literally frozen on the spot from the light that's coming in through the doorway. Because Jorik, you don't have a light source, do you?
I do. My spear is on.
Oh, your
a
spear
light
was
source.
lit. That's right. So from his spear, you can see that Freddy is just charging towards him, and his rictus of a face is just focused on Jorik, because Jorik's holding this light source, right? He will get to Jorik at the end of this round. What are you doing?
How far away am I from Jorik?
20 foot.
And I race over to Jorik, grab him smartly by the shirt front and fling him at the gap in the door.
You literally kind of throw him at that gap in the door.
And then I produce flame in my hand once again and turn to face down the ground.
You shall not pass.
Shouts.
If this is anyhow D&D works, then it's just like a pathetic.
It is literally just like a cluster of flames, but I can throw it.
Right. So you turn around, you produce this flame. As you produce the flame, Freddy's face contorts and even more, and he said, "You said no flame!" And he just smacks at you.
You are not behaving, Freddy. That was the deal.
That's what you hear from
Freddy.
John as this fist flies of
Freddy, no! No! Bad Freddy!
No, you can't deal with a
Is
guy.
this like a golf, like a one wood,
Yes.
like it's like Kong.
So that hits an armor class of 21, which I
Oh my god.
he rolled very well. He did well.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Freddy, no, we do not hit. Freddy!
Use your words.
Yes.
Use
The
your
word.
No.
tone. It's about the tone. Just look at him with the tone. Yes, you with the tone of 16 damage as he just slams you with his great big fist, shouting,
Does that hit me as well?
Uh-oh.
No, because Con threw you towards the doorway. So you're at least 6 foot away from Con. As Con just gets slammed by this creature.
Interestingly, my flame doesn't go out. It doesn't require concentration.
Never hear the.
You just drop it on the floor.
When flame moves quickly, that's how it is. Like
Yes. Right? Absolutely. So yes, that's what the 4 of you are hearing from behind. So can I have initiative, please, from everybody?
again.
Oh yes,
Or
yes,
do
you
we use
already
the other
rolled.
one?
Sorry. I thought.
Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, until you roll really crappy. Until then, we will.
I already rolled crappy. What more do you want?
Okay,
Yes.
you stick with your initiative. Everybody else give me
Gary, what was the damage taken there?
16.
Oof.
Ouch.
Oof is the word. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
But my sheet says 16.
No.
All right, so that's what he hits you with. Now, I actually didn't write down your initiatives because I didn't think we were going to get into combat. I just was getting you to the door. So
22.
22 for Adressai. I remember Blackston, you were in the 20s as well. Somewhere.
No, 18. Saket had 20, I think.
Yeah,
80.
20.
So Ket was 20, Jorik was a natural 1, and Con, you were 15, I think.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. All right.
15
okay.
is it, yes.
Yeah, okay, cool.
My dice is still sitting on the roll.
I've got the monsters initiative here. All right, so Adressai, what are you doing?
All right. Still see through this gap in the door,
Yes,
sort of
you can.
what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't
There's
have.
just a bundle of Jorik in the way.
Yeah. I have no fire
So
spells,
the
but
first one who should be able to react would be Yorick, right? Because it would be after the monster.
Yes, you are
True.
actually quite right. Sorry, we're not even out of that round. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yes. Sorry. Thank you for that. Okay. So Jorik, yes, you've kind of been thrown at the door, and then you hear the sound of Con being by the broadside of a cow. This creature
All right.
sounds like a cow. I've decided. I don't know why.
Moo, 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 moo.
Moo.
Jorik scrambles to his feet and actually snaps out of it, and I draw an arrow, but I don't shoot because I kind of need to wait. I hold an action because I need to know what my friends are doing.
All right. So
Or
what you
do I-
can
wait,
see from
do
this
I?
creature.
No, I shoot.
All right. Okay, go for it.
Because panic.
Yeah, well, there's a 20-foot creature standing over Con, and he's about to just
Yeah, so shoot, 16.
16 to hit. That does a definite hit. Do your damage.
Okay. That's how do you even roll this low on so many dice? How? All right, that's 14.
14. Okay, so tell me what your piercing damage is.
My piercing damage is 1d8 plus 4. Or do you mean the dice itself?
Yeah.
What you rolled
In
for
that
this-
case,
yeah.
it's 6.
Is that
Piercing damage is 6.
All
The
right.
rest is
And the rest is your psychic enhancement, right?
yes.
All right. All right. So your arrow slams into it. You get a sense that the arrow puncturing through his flesh, or it actually doesn't even puncture through his flesh with that amount of damage. It sort of grazes across the surface of it. The arrow doesn't even leave a mark, but your psychic energy sort of plays over the skin for a little bit and seems to burn it, doing a little bit more damage than the actual arrowhead itself.
As a free action on his turn, I would then say, "Come through, come move."
Yes, you
Make
can
way!
still move.
Yeah. And then after that, I try to shuffle through.
All right, so you slip through the doorway. Absolutely, not a problem. Now we go into the top of the next round. Adversai, Jorik sort of slips through and kind of gives you this look.
That look.
Con is still sort of. Where is Con right now? Is he far away from
across the floor.
just rolling?
Like we have like this, and he was just like now there, and then it's like
flame
Yes.
turning, spinning in sort of
Yes,
erratic
it's like,
circle.
got fire, I've got fire, I'm okay, I've got fire.
No, what I'm gonna do, I have no actually fire spells. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cast Prestidigitation. And try to create, I mean, it's not gonna give off any heat or anything, but it's gonna be like a fire sort of right in front of its face or eyes, to sort of try to sort of scare it, blind it, distract it, sort of thing.
Huh, interesting.
If
Okay.
I can do twice, if I can also like create a sort of crackling sound as well, but no.
Can only cast one spell per turn.
Yeah,
well,
I can do that
One
next
time.
turn.
All right, so that's what
No,
you're
like-
that's what you're trying to do, crackling lights and that sort of thing. And somehow it works. As it's about to bring its second
Hey.
fist down, it kind of sees these lights and it tries to bat at these lights. But the moment it hits one and its fist goes through it and it sees that there's no repercussion, it seems to lose focus on them. However, it has distracted it significantly. Saket?
Okay, so it's a bit of a case of, hold my beer, I'm going in. And she like pulls Adversai out the way
Whoa.
and just throws the flaming spear at the
Right.
poor golem. I guess I should be holding on to a dusting of powdered iron or something. Just to
Right.
clean
So you
certain-
stick your hand into your component bag, which you have with you, and you cast your spell. Now, does
Yes.
the golem get a dexterity saving throw? Or just if it ends?
He
its turn?
does get a dexterity saving
All right.
throw.
Well, his dexterity saving throw modifiers -1, so he gets 15. How does that sit?
Bugger.
Roll the 16. What's your DC?
He has
Yeah,
got-
that
what?
might
Yeah,
actually
he's
be a success.
Yeah, he's succeeded, so he only takes half damage.
Right.
You got a DC of 14, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we established that on the other fun
Mm.
game. So if he halves 6.
Oh,
So
we.
it's already halved at 6, or is it is 6?
No, that,
and you're halving
it's
it
6,
down?
he needs to halve it to 3.
Wee.
Whoops!
if you stays, if you put, she can put it the fire in front of the door, and it just stays there. So
Absolutely.
Well, the other
You
thing is I
have
do have a bonus action of being able to move it up to 30 feet. Can
Yes. Are you going to try and interpose it between Con and the golem, or between the golem and the door?
No, between Con and the golem.
All right. Okay. Absolutely. That's fine. So you move it over. Blackston? Is he okay? Is he fine? No, I'm running.
Please?
Can we please get a move on? Can you please stop playing with...
Not much. I don't really want to go through to Con right now, so I'm just going to wait for him here. See what the rest holds, the direction we want to go.
Okay. It does make sense. Con, you're up.
Well, seeing the flaming sphere interposing itself, I scramble for the door.
Right. She's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. All right. So
This sucked.
you're scrambling towards the door. Freddy's reaction is to step back from this flaming sphere, and he takes several steps back, shouting, "Not fair! Fire bad!" as he's moving back into the darkness.
Are you sure his name is not Frankie?
I don't know. It's a flesh golem. You tell me. Anyway, yes, Con, you managed to sort of scrabble your way through that flaming sphere. It lasts for your concentration or for a few minutes. Is that right? Saket, how long will that flaming sphere last?
It can last up to 10 minutes with some concentration. Oh, no. Sorry, I read that wrong. I wish it lasted 10 minutes. It lasts a minute with some concentration.
Okay. So at the moment that Con is through, do you immediately start moving again?
I'm concentrating on the floor. I kind of want to make sure everybody is now at the other end of the room, ready to go through the next.
I want to shut the door.
Yeah, good point. Shut the door.
Don't think we can now.
It's a strength check to push it shut, but that won't engage any locks.
The golem won't fit through the crack.
Let's
just park the fire flame in front of it and we'll leave.
We go.
All right. So that's what you do. Now, you continue down another stretch of corridor, which, as far as the warden told you, when you get to the end of it, on the right-hand side, the left-hand side, should be the engine room. And true to form, you're busy running down that corridor. Who's in the front? Who's in the lead?
Blackston, I think. With Jorik closely falling behind.
Blackston's running in the middle. Wait a minute, I'm in the front here.
No, it's fine. This was just meta game fun.
Yes, exactly. So, Blackston is running forward. Will you give me a perception check, please?
Absolutely. 6.
All right. So you are rushing forward, and you suddenly slip on the slime that's all over the floor, and you land with quite a loud thud and a thump, and you kind of roll around. And when you stand up, everyone else sort of runs up next to you. You can see that on the floor is this spray of mucus and slime. Con, you're very familiar with this by now. You've seen it a couple times. Okay. What makes this different, though, is that there are chunks of flesh in and amongst this stuff, which doesn't look like it's been regurgitated. It looks like flesh that has just kind of melted off of something.
They hatched.
Yeah.
Or something, right? So yes, that's kind of what you're slipping. At the end of the corridor, you can see the corridor turns to the right, which continues down towards another tower that could be used as an exit point. And then to the left, of course, there is a door which very clearly marks engine room, and then there's a litany of do not enter signs underneath it, written in every known language available to man.
And I just look at the group. It says, I think this is a rather important situation where we need to get in there right now.
I agree. Look, and if it requires muddling some reports afterwards, I'm with you.
Right. So, with that being said, before I open the door, I will cast Bless.
Also, may I establish, in our previous bit before we started the run, did Adresai mention that there was a replacement of the gnomes?
Yes,
you did.
Yeah, we discussed that going to the...
Yeah, I thought so.
It was in the armory, I believe.
She asked, I even asked the warden why he didn't mention it before.
Yeah.
Right. So good. That plays into my theory.
All right. So you place your hand on the door, and
I will cast the bless on Yorick, on myself, and on Siket.
That's a D4 on saving throws, right?
On hits, and on saves, yes.
Yeah. All right. That's very good. Okay. So you utter the evocation of Brax and bring about your incantation. You place your hand on the door, and the door slides open to reveal a fairly modest chamber inside of beyond it, with a door on the other side. This looks to be a holding area of some kind. There is a large window inset into the side of this structure that allows you to look down into what you think is the engine's space.
Right.
There doesn't appear to be anyone here at this particular moment in time.
Right. So with shield in front of my face and with the sword lighting the way, I would then step inside the room, and basically this is like a canal of sort, like a.
It's an auxiliary holding room. So if you were
Right.
to have people over, you'd have them here, if you like.
Observation gallery.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems to be like a double door system of some sort, right? Like
Correct.
which you kind of. All right. So I would then ask like one of my fellow friends with the vast amounts of sticks we have with us to kind of make sure that the door doesn't close behind us as I kind of step through, because I don't want that to happen. And then I step through and try to get basically through the next door as well if possible. Then, right? That's kind of my idea. I don't know if anything happens.
Okay. So
We have a couple
Adversai,
of extra staffs, right?
you're
Grabbed a bunch. I don't know how many are left because you also gave them out.
I don't have any.
Adversai has a spare one. So you
has one too, I know.
wedge that into place. All right. So you don't think that door is going to close. Anyone else doing anything else? Just following Blackstone straight through to that next door? All right.
This is the way to the engine room, then yes.
Right.
Yeah. Although she would be very curious in the slime.
On the slime. It's like, come on, leave the slime. That's not important right now. All right. So
Like
you,
later.
it might be later, right? Absolutely. So you press your hand on that next door. It opens up, and there's a fairly lengthy corridor that extends in front of you. Now, the corridor, the floor is this metal grating, so you can actually see through it. And as you open up that door, the sound that just hits you is quite terrific. And it's this deep thumbing, humming sound of, you're not entirely sure what it is, but you have on occasion late at night on the Windswift heard this on a very still night, and when you're right at the front of the ship, this sort of very low whoa, 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 whoa sound. And then you can hear some very excited talking. The language that it's being spoken in is incredibly guttural, very dark, and it has the effect of making your joints ache and your muscles almost feel a little bit weaker just by the sheer intensity of this language. Does anyone speak Draconic?
No, but I am casting different languages, which I have prepared now, so I can cast it right away.
You can if you want to, absolutely.
Yes,
So
I am.
that's the sound that you're hearing coming from underneath you. What it looks like is that this corridor will extends forward for 30 feet, and then there's a set of stairs going down into a bigger chamber, because there is a much bigger chamber beyond, and you can see that there's a solid green light just pouring out of that. There are two doors on this corridor, one on the left and one on the right as well.
So how many different people do I think I hear? Even if I don't understand, I should be able to somehow.
You can probably hear three. You think you can hear three different voices.
Okay. And can I make over the humming also out roughly the direction they are in?
Definitely coming from the big chamber in front of you.
How
Not-
deep?
Not from either door.
If I would go over the railing, how deep would I need to jump?
Oh, it's about 30 feet.
All right.
Ow.
Rope. Or is there any obvious other way in that room?
Well, yeah, at the end of the corridor, there's stairs going down. You can see the railings of steps going down.
All right, I'll still want to use the rope. Maybe others want to go on the end, but I'll quickly kind of bind the rope around my waist. I guess they are like.
Yeah, they're railings,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'll make kind of fasten them on there and then just
Sure.
let myself down as quickly as possible.
Below, it's difficult to tell what you're seeing. It looks like just pipes and tubes and boilers. It's a mixture of stuff, so you're not entirely sure what you're seeing below you. All right, so
And
that's what.
One other thing I would like to ask, I think Saket, you did the cast on my spell, right? The spell on my sword. And I
Yeah.
would like to ask you to lift it. And then
Okay.
Right.
Done.
Done. Ta-da!
That's what you're doing. Jorik, what are you doing?
I'm an elf. Would it be possible to get down there with acrobatics without using a rope, without killing myself?
It's difficult to tell what the surface of those objects are. It looks like it's all metal and piping, so it could be slippery. You might be able to sort of do a bit of a parkour down, but if any of those plates can't hold your weight, you're in trouble.
All right, YOLO.
You're
That's
gonna
19.
jump over. All right, so
Yeah, I'm
you
doing
jump
it.
over
19.
your athletics and you start to make your way down as Blackston is busy lowering himself cautiously down. All right, Adversai?
I'm going to stay up here for the moment. I think Comprehend Languages, even prepared, takes about a minute to cast. So I'm going to stay up there for now, keep hidden, mumbling my whispered incantation to
it's
myself.
10 rounds, right? Just for reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 minute is 10 rounds.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I just want to know what they're saying.
Okay. No,
All right. Well, let's see what happens. Okay, so you're gonna start doing that. Saket.
Saket is going to, she's not going to go down there as well. So she's going to throw light. Is that possible, do we think?
You can
Down.
cast light somewhere. Yeah, it's got a range.
Yeah.
you can cast light on a coin and just throw the
The
coin.
range
Yeah.
is touch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
but you can light an item and throw it down.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
do that. I find like a pebble or something on the floor and I cast light and I throw it down the shaft to see if we can see what's at the bottom.
All right, so give me a perception check. No, you can see what's below you. That whole area is illuminated with green light. Sorry. So you can see
it is.
pipes and drums and some walkways, lots of valves and boiler drum type of things with pipes leading on and offward.
How far down again was it?
30 feet.
Ah, okay.
Right, and we can hear voices at the bottom of it.
Correct. Well, they're coming from in that chamber somewhere.
Right, can I peer over the ledge? Can I get like some sort of... All right, I'm going to try and pick a target.
All right. So that's what you're going to be doing. You're trying to pick a target as you look over. Con?
Sorry, I think I might have missed something. Is there a reason we're not using the stairs, other than, or is this a stealth option?
Two people just.
No, honestly, I'm not. It's not like a sarcastic question.
No, absolutely. Blackston just roped himself up and has launched himself over the railing. And,
with you. Like, well, how you think I want to do this is really up to you.
yes.
Jorik saw him go over, so Jorik went over. That's just like.
Cool. Okay. No, I did zone out for a moment reading a spell card, so I wondered if I'd missed a crucial bit of.
No.
Something. Okay.
They don't like stairs.
I really should make spell cards.
I am going to creep over to the stairs.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Hold right
Staff
there.
in front of you.
Yeah. Before I try and use them, I obviously want to make sure there's no one on them, at the bottom of them, or in line of sight of them. So
Right.
it's
Right.
like I'm also trying to pinpoint where these voices are coming from.
Got you. Okay. Give me a stealth check, if you please.
Right.
Do we have advantage on the stealth check because of the humming of the engine?
Sure. Yeah, makes sense. And they don't think anyone's coming.
Oh, well, that's useful. So that would be 20.
All right. You sneak up to the edge of the staircase, and you can see standing at the bottom of its metal stairs going down onto a half platform, probably 10 foot down, and then there's another 10 foot down and another 10 foot down to the ground. Standing on the lower deck, or 10 foot away from you, is one of these gnomes, but you can see that the skin is sort of, it's broken, it's peeling off, revealing the scaly skin underneath as it's busy. It's listening to what the other three are saying, and occasionally it shouts something at them. And for a moment, you think you almost understand it, because you can see that this is very much like a Jockenstoke. This is just like Waff and Jockenstoke. In the way that he's sort of talking about whatever it is that they're discussing. There's that authoritative possessiveness in the tone, and it hasn't seen you.
But it's not speaking gnomish.
No. The language that it's speaking is now you're starting to feel unsettled in your stomach.
I look back at the others.
That would now only be Saket and Adresai. Saket's looking over the balcony looking for somebody. All right.
Something to blow up.
I just indicate to Adresai then that...
Yeah, Saket, you'll see Con's indicator that there's one there on the platform.
Ah, okay.
Right, so he points just down there.
If there's anything left of my turn, because I haven't really done anything much, I guess I'm going to continue to creep down to try and sneak up behind this person.
All right, he seems completely unaware that you're there. Saket, what are you doing?
I'm going to attempt to hit the gnome. Is he within 60 feet?
Yes.
Great. Let's throw a nice bubble of acid at him.
Here goes the stealth. Na 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 na.
All right.
The target must succeed on a dexterity saving throw.
All right.
And I will hope and pray I'm going to give it a D6 thing.
Throw it. Well, he gets a dexterity saving throw of 10.
Not enough.
Not enough, so take 3 damage.
Take the acid back to you.
Exactly.
This
is what I think of. You're spitting at me!
All right, so Blackson, you land on this metal walkway, and you can see in front of you, behind several large cylinder-like objects that have got pipes going across them and around them and over them. You can see in the distance, the one wall is this large engine. You have been in a ship's engine room before, so you know what to look for. And you can see there's one here, but it's probably 3 times the size of one that you might find aboard the Windswift.
Right.
And there's something very strange happening in the front plate of it. And you can see there's three of these gnome things. Their flesh is all sort of melting and falling off. You can actually see emanating from this engine these sort of waves of green ethereal energy. And as the energy ripples over their flesh, you can see the flesh is slowly being dragged away, pulled away by this energy to reveal the forms underneath.
They're tender. I get it.
Right. Jorik, as you're busy leaping down from one barrel to the next, you land next to Blackstone. You're seeing exactly the same thing. Is this then from above you, again, lost in the hum and the shouting and that sort of thing, there's a sort of a sharp hiss of breath as this acid blob smacks into the back of the gnome on the landing behind you, and he kind of turns to look up.
So here's the question: how far are these 3 and the engine itself away from where Yorick and I are?
Probably 30 foot, no more than that.
Right.
So what are you going to do?
So even if they notice that something is going on with their chap over there.
Correct.
He's
over
probably
there and up.
Right. But not that direction, but that or whatever direction.
Correct.
Would we still be able to possibly get, well, Yorick doesn't necessarily need to get closer, but I do, get closer without them noticing?
Yes, you don't think that they're paying any attention to you whatsoever.
All right. I'll actually try to roleplay this out. I motion to Yorick and basically motion like, and kind of try to slink my way up to these people. Since I guess I'm a little bit slower than just jumping down, I guess that's the end of my round.
Right, absolutely. Yorick, what are you going to do? You seeing this from Blackston?
I send him a small message, and then I back up behind something and get the bow ready.
All right.
I hold my action, waiting for him.
Sure, not a problem. Okay. Adversai, you're still casting Comprehend Languages?
Round 2.
Until it goes off, really.
Cast!
All right. So you're still busy working on that. Saket, your acid splash caused this creature to look around back at you. You have the distinct impression that the acid didn't do anything, apart from making aware of your presence.
Oops. Yeah. Something a little hotter, I feel.
Let's see. The dragons. Acid, fire, maybe no.
Crap. Okay. We're just okay. I'm gonna attempt chromatic orb.
Right.
Right, and it's going. I think I'm gonna try and poison it for a change.
For a change.
For a change, yeah.
Today, spin the wheel.
I better be touching my ginormous diamond at the same time.
Right.
Woo!
Right.
So
Can you stick your hand in your
Oh, right! 18. Yeah, but I haven't even had, that was just what I rolled. Spell attack bonus is +4. So
Right.
my spell range attack will be 22.
22, that's
Plus a
definitely...
D4 if you really want to get out there.
Yes,
Right.
All right. You don't need the D4 because, yes, that definitely hits.
Great. Give me a second. Now you've made me get a collection of dice.
That's
He takes this much damage.
I want that spell.
Right, so that's 10 damage.
10 damage. Okay. All right. So,
Quick question. Do we see that lizard thingy that she's shooting at?
no, that's above and behind you. So
Okay.
you're focused directly in front. So, yes. All right. So 10 damage. All right. So the
On top of the 3 that I've already
poison
done.
kind of wafts around this creature. And Con, you're about to do whatever it is you're going to do to this creature. It hasn't noticed you because it's fixated on Saket, who's standing at the top of the staircase, busy raining down her chromatic orbs of doom. And this poison you see its eyes start to water. You can see the nictating membranes busy flushing, trying to keep those eyes clear. The little nose membranes close up, but it still has to breathe. And when it does, you can see blood collecting at the corners of its mouth as the poison seems to take effect. What do you do?
That's a horrible way to kill someone. What the hell's wrong with you?
It's a way to kill someone.
And also, traditionally women poison.
Oh,
Look
fair
at a certain empress.
And then a fireball! While they're reeling!
Starting with fire! It's going next.
So my staff lights up green with a green aura, but I'm not going to swing it at him. I want to stick it sort of at more or less sort of between the knee and ankle height, between the legs, and twist and try and bring him down to prone position.
All right. Would you please give me an athletics check?
Athletics.
Yeah.
Strength.
Yeah, 20.
Yep. He is busy gurgling and gargling. It's not difficult for you to slip your staff in, especially since he doesn't even know that you're there. You twist it around and you just bring him down. You've got much more leverage anyway. You're a much bigger creature. And he sort of rolls over onto his, falls onto his back and immediately starts to try and claw his way back up into position. But yes, he's been knocked prone. You can hear in his, as he sort of lands next to you, you can hear his stomach is busy rumbling and bubbling and sort of seething, a sound that you have heard before. Right.
This is not good.
Do we go on our previous initiative rolls, by the way? I'm just asking.
I'm just basically now just busy working through you guys as you are on my screen, because it was more action based than anything else. So we get to Blackstone. You snuck forward. Give me a wisdom saving throw, please, as you getting forward.
24.
Oh my god.
That's good.
Paladins do.
That's what paladins
That'll do, donkey. That'll
Right.
do.
I have blessed through, right? So
That's right. So as you're sneaking forward, you get this feeling that in your bag, where the helm of Brax is, that's where you keep it, right? You don't wear it.
no.
Correct. So that feels like it's pressing on the edge of the bag to get pulled into that engine.
Oh, cool. Yeah, throw it in there. Sure.
Well, you can if you like.
No.
Let's see what your god feels about that. Because what you can now see, having snuck forward, is you can see these three are basically standing there, basking in the waves that this engine is busy pushing out. And the door to this engine, imagine a coal furnace. The door is completely open, and this energy is just washing out of it. Give me a perception check now that you are this close.
Do I need a Geiger counter? 5.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the problem is. You're busy looking for your Geiger counter, so you don't see anything beyond that. But that's generally the effect. But you get the distinct impression that they're basking in this
Right.
radiation rather than anything else. What are you going to do now?
Kill them.
That's the Blackstone I know.
Right.
So I assume that I'm at this point close enough to get to them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So with my now not lit sword anymore, I will kind of basically try to slink my way through like the different kind of tubings and whatnot
Right.
to get close enough to then just like move around the corner. And I mean, I wear armor, so this is not entirely soundless, even if I move right like this. But them basking it, I assume, kind of gives them some distraction, and then maybe one of them kind of turned around and saw what's happening there. Who knows? Anyway, so I try to get close and try to surprise them as I just make a lunge attack and just like trying to pierce one and make him to kebab or whatever.
Right, into
You're
combat. Yes. Okay, make your attack as you do so.
Right. So longsword, here I come. 23 to hit.
Oh boy. You absolutely hit him in the vitals. Yeah, do your damage.
All right, I will do first level smite on top of it.
Right.
So that is, he is not undead or fiend.
No, he's not a fiend. And he's
All
not-
right.
Yeah.
All right. So that's 9 slashing.
9 slashing. Yeah, sure.
And 11 radiant.
11 radiant. My God. Okay. So you stab into him, as you say, sort of kebab style, and you puncture through the other side, and this sort of green blood sprays out of that. And it sort of clutches at the weapon. You can see its legs are going limp, and it just howls in pain, alerting its two brothers or whatever.
That's right.
And blood sort of pours from its mouth. You don't think it's dead, but you think you've severely wounded it.
All right, second attack.
Yeah.
Now not with advantage anymore because obviously it's not
Yeah,
surprised
that's-
anymore.
yeah.
So it's just 17.
That's just a hit.
That's another 9 points of slashing damage.
Another 9
Yeah, I
points.
still get the D4 extra, right? So it kind of that evens it out. So.
Right.
So that's another 9 extra points of slashing damage.
All right.
And what I will try to do is, after kind of piercing him, just basically cutting the gut open to the side.
Correct.
See if
And
that is
that's exactly what you do, is you cut to the side and his entrails just spill out. onto the surface of this engine deck.
With that being said, I will bring the shield forward and duck to the side to give you a clean line of fire.
Sort of a clean line of fire. Okay, absolutely. Jarek, you can see one of these creatures is busy charging towards Blackston. There's just been this sort of spray of green blood everywhere as Braxton's done his maneuver. And then you see him step out of the way. There's a carcass on the floor. And then one of these things is lunging forward.
Yeah, the one who's lunging at Blackston, I realized that hitting him is going to be a little bit difficult between all the pipes and things. So I hit him with visions of despair. I conjure a horrific image of death, doom, and destruction in his mind. He needs to do a charisma save.
Okay, and you need to do a wisdom save if you can.
Okay.
He fails his charisma.
Let's see. Wisdom. There it is. Good thing I'm proficient with it. That is 24.
Ooh.
Right.
Roll your extra d4.
I did.
Okay, nice.
So that is 24 with that one.
All right, so he completely fails his save.
6, 12, 13, 21. Maths. 26 psychic damage, and his speed is 0 for 1 turn.
Wow. Okay, so he's just standing there miserably
He's going to
sorry.
be 0 forever.
Right, he's
All he can see is death and destruction and horror.
Well, he has just seen death, destruction, and horror. And Blackston just eviscerating his ally out of nowhere.
I amplify those feelings.
Right.
That's what I do.
All right. Adversai, you're aware that the talking has stopped.
Yes.
Adversai's like, darn it.
Yeah. I'm just sort of, I don't know. I have a question first. The creatures, because I'm standing up there sort of watching everything happen. The one that Saket was fighting, for instance, do they look anything like the one I met in the book? Or is this something different?
They look similar.
Do they look similar to the ones... Do I know what the ones that live in that desert area look like?
The ones in the desert area stand 6 foot tall. These are not 6 foot tall. These are 3, 4, 5 foot tops.
Yeah, but like the similarity is more like the one I saw in the book than the desert.
Yes, very much
people.
so. Yeah, very much.
Interesting. Honestly, like I started casting this a little bit before because as soon as I heard the voices, I started casting it.
Right.
I'm gonna start moving down the stairs, but I'm gonna keep casting it because I wonder if I can finish this now that I've started it, and it might come in useful later if we want to interrogate one.
Right. Yeah, well, let's see what happens.
My damage output is not huge anyway. I feel like people
right
got that part covered.
No, that's why we have Saket.
I think so.
Yeah.
Right, Saket, you're up on the deck. Would you please give me a perception check?
Also, you're muted, just so you know.
Oh no.
Not good on that perception.
1.
Oh, a natural 1. Okay, fantastic. All right, so yes, you are busy standing on the balustrade. You can see that Con has tripped this creature now and is preparing to do something to it. What are you doing?
Probably about to trip over my own feet.
Right.
Or get distracted by Freddy. I'm not sure because I'm not noticing what's going on. Normally, I was going to throw another... I was going to do another flaming sphere into the two gnomes, lizard things. But if I only got 1 for perception, am I still able to do that?
Well, there's the one on the staircase, but he's right next to Con. Con is sort of standing over him, having tripped him.
Yeah, I'm going to let Con deal with that one. I want to see if I can see any of the other two that are talking and...
Not from where you are, not with that perception check.
Right.
So you're still high up, so you're going to have to come down the stairs following Adversai.
Yeah, I'm going to have to follow Adversai then.
Con?
He's prone. Finish him.
Finish him.
Essentially, no, I was just contemplating the fact that the thing's going to try and it's making gurgling, bubbling noises. So I'm going to try and sort of force it face down and sort of break its neck or something.
Just shove your staff down its throat.
Yeah.
I like my staff. Thank you.
All right. So that's what you're going to try and do. Give me an attack with your staff, basically using that as your fulcrum to break it.
Yeah. I'm coming down on it with my staff like this. Oh, that's not bad. That is 23.
Oh, that's definitely a hit. Yeah.
7.
7. Okay. Plus that's fact. So
if he pukes, I want him to puke up in his basically into the
interesting.
floor.
Right. So what happens is as you sort of press down on his neck, he passes out, and there's just this release of chlorine gas which wafts up from him. But because of the way that you sort of positioned it, you can look away as this gas just escapes from his lips, bubbling and hissing and popping as it escapes up into the atmosphere. And it's quite still, but a quick check of the pulse, and it has a pulse, so it's definitely not undead, but it's quite clammy to the touch. It's not a warm-blooded creature. That much you can certainly tell from a very quick just sort of look at it. Correct. All right. Back to you, Blackstone. Oh, sorry?
I'm going to tie its mouth shut if possible. Has it got? If it's lizard-like, does it have a muzzle?
Definitely looks like a kobold, but only much.
That's the snout.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to muzzle it.
All right, so you start to just rope it up. Can you give me a perception check, please?
Right. Oh dear. 9.
All right. Okay.
Not good with the perception
We
checks.
are not seeing shit today.
Muzzling it, right? Okay, Blackstone.
Don't want to be a buzzkill here, but the turn of the monsters?
Oh yeah, they should probably act right.
Probably.
No.
Sorry, yes, you're quite right. I don't know what else. I was just enjoying you guys just destroying these creatures.
Mutilating kobolds.
Right. So yes, there's one standing there looking completely dazed. It can only take one action. Is that right, Tobias?
Actually, it can take whatever action it wants. The thing is that its speed is 0, so it can't move.
Speed is 0, it can't move. All right, that's fine. Okay, so it's going to do what it does best, which is start to gurgle. The one next to it sees you standing there, Blackstone, sees its dead corpse, sees the one gurgling, and it just runs.
Can I get an attack of opportunity?
You can make an attack against it, absolutely. But it looks like it's running towards the staircases going past Adressai, Saket, and Con. But yes, you may make
It's going to regret that.
It's going to regret that, yeah.
Still, I see no reason not to strike it.
No. Soften it up a bit.
7 points.
7 points of damage. All right. You slash into the back of it. It kind of winces and just carries on running, scurrying through the piping.
Coming around the corner, like, ooh.
Yeah, it's like, ah! Oops.
Running into Saket is like running into a bazooka. Pointed at you is like, oh, shit.
Jorik, speaking of a bazooka, what are you doing? There's still that one that you've terrified.
Well, since he's not moving anymore, I shoot him.
You see, because you did the thing. Right, sorry, Blackstone.
We really should roll for initiative, you know.
Right, we should have rolled for initiative. Yeah, absolutely. Blackstone, sorry, what are you now doing? There's still one.
Yeah, there's one who isn't moving, right?
Yeah, the one's disappearing through the pipes is moving very, very quickly.
Yeah, but there's the one who isn't moving, and he is not going to move any longer. I have any. So again, 25, 8 points.
Yeah, you decapitate.
Second strike, it's a crit.
Oh.
Ow.
So let's just say it's dead.
Absolutely.
Slash.
Absolutely.
So if I have still anything, if I can do anything, I want to take a look at this exploding warp core and see how I can eject it. That's always a solution, right?
Right, there's always a solution. Yeah, absolutely. Usually that's when you're in space, though. All right, so you're going to have a look.
Throwing in the volcano.
As you're looking at this engine, your natural paladin resistance to poison and to sort of desecration and that kind of thing, you can feel that you're being affected by these waves of energy washing out of this machine. And at first it wasn't very strong, but you realize the longer that you stand next to this thing, the more you're absorbing of this energy that's coming out of it. And now that you're so close to it and you're looking for a way to shut it down, looking inside that engine and to the furnace, you are convinced that beyond the green haze of energy, you can see without doubt the outline of a very large dragon that appears to be watching you.
Mm-mm.
Now we know what Jockenstoke meant.
With what?
That I kill every gnome that is in existence.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Can I close the lid? Or is this the end of my turn?
Yeah, that'll be the end of your turn for now. We'll come back. Jorik?
Where's those bells?
Do I see the dashing little asshole?
Yes, he's moving quite quickly through all the little pipes and things.
Well, then he's going to stop moving because he's going to share the same vision as his friends.
He gets to make a saving throw, right?
Yeah, charisma saving throw.
And so do you, wisdom saving throw.
All right, yes.
He completely fails his charisma saving. He rolled a 3.
Yeah, I rolled 21 on the dice. I don't think I need to add my proficiency.
Roll 21 on the die?
I do think you can choose
Yeah, 19 plus
dice.
2. I have your D4.
Oh, yeah, the D4.
The D4.
But that's 20. What it is? 24.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. As long as the dice didn't say 21, because otherwise you
No,
tone down on
the single die.
it was 19 plus 2.
Right. Okay, so yes, you hit him, do your damage. Probably kill him, same as before.
Math is hard. 18, 24, 28 psychic damage.
His head explodes. There's just brain everywhere as this body runs forward 2 steps and collapses absolutely flat on the
That
ground.
wasn't intentional. Okay.
It was... oh. Yeah, it was just too much.
I was just going to stop him.
You
Well, he
stopped him.
stopped.
It's true.
All right, so that's your actions. Adrasai, as you're coming down the steps, you're muttering. You feel that you're more than halfway through your incantation now.
Yeah, I should hope so.
But you're watching this little green thing run towards you, and suddenly its head explodes, and its corpse lands a few feet away from you. Yeah.
I go sort of mutter. Thank you, Jorik. Mutter.
All right, so you carry on focusing on that. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're nearly there.
I'm gonna stop now.
Saket.
I brought you a gift.
Yay! Is it my birthmas?
Trying really hard not to throw. I'm guessing I see that as well.
Yes.
I'm behind the. Yeah, trying really hard not to throw up at the brain explosion.
Right.
Thank God I've got one of these. So, yeah, she's gonna keep going, but there's one frozen gnome, one exploded head gnome, and one dead gnome, right?
There are 3 dead gnomes and one that has been gagged by by Con.
Okay, so I think she's just gonna run into the room and be like,
Just panic.
You're miming?
that too. Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
doing a Mr. Mime impression.
Yeah, just a mime impression. Okay, so yeah, you sort of seeing this giant engine that's busy burning this green flame within it. Blackston seems to have seen something in the engine itself. You can see these pulsing energy waves of green magic just washing off of this engine. They extend about 20 foot away from it.
Oh, by the way, after I've exploded the guy, I walk up to Blackston, see if I can
so
help.
you're sort of heading in that direction.
When he does this, can I shove him away?
Yeah, you can try and push him back. Absolutely. Well, we'll come to you guys now. Con?
This guy's still unconscious?
He's out. You're not sure because it's something that you haven't dealt with before? At least 10 minutes?
Well, yeah. Essentially tie its binded up hands and feet as well as gagging it, and then sort of drag it down the stairs to try and regroup with the others.
Everyone else is sort of dragging this thing along. All right, so yes, Jorik, as you start approaching, Blackstone kind of just pushes you back.
Yeah, I would put out the hand earlier.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
All right, what are you doing?
Again, same question. Can I close this thing?
Oh, sorry. Yes, absolutely.
Is there like the keys that I can pull to later throw down? Make it
It's just this great big handlebar that sits across the top of the plate, and you literally just pull that down, and you can see several counterweights busy spinning and turning as you do so, and then it locks in place, closed. As soon as he does that green energy that's washing out completely disappears.
And as I do this, I actually go down on my knees and just like let myself fall to the side and start panting.
That's what you see. That's what you see. We're out of
I
initiative.
run up and catch him.
All right, so Jorik runs over. Oh.
It's like he pushed me away, but no. Are you all right, Blackstone? Blackstone, are you okay?
No.
What was that?
I don't know. But we will have to speak to the gnomes.
I don't think they talk much anymore.
I mean, sector.
Con arrives dragging one.
Well, the good news is I don't think this is a contagion.
Am I done now?
Dragging him down the stairs, the head just dunk.
Yeah, no, I'm taking care not to kill it. So
Yeah.
I want to ask questions.
Has anyone got a sharp knife that I can use as a scalpel?
Yes, here.
Okay.
And you
Is
finish
this
your spell, Adrosite?
Yes, thank you.
As she's finishing her spell, I dump our prisoner in front of her. There you are.
I'm still holding.
We really need to figure out a way to do this faster.
Before he wakes up, you said this takes a minute or two, right?
Probably.
Just for brevity's sake here. The machine that was overclocked and going critical or whatever was happening to this, that's my kind of, it's not knowing them thing, right? Since I closed it, it's not like going...
No.
Right?
So you're sort of looking at the dials and things, and there is a specific dial which is very, very low and is dropping almost continuously, fairly quickly actually, and it's written. Does anyone speak Gnomish?
Yes.
Well, yes, now.
No, I did before as well.
Gnomish as well, right. So you've seen this, Blackstone, because in the trades and things in your area, there are gnomes. Right. It's a gnomish script that describes what is dropping quite rapidly.
The time. Ding! You're dead. No.
So he pointed out, then Adrosai can obviously tell you what it is.
Yes.
It's all right. It's magic unit level.
Oh, yes.
That's fine. That's good.
It's running out of fuel.
It's running out of that value. Mm. The interesting thing is that the dial, when it reaches 0, that is written in bright red.
Yeah. And
the lower values towards that towards that sort of that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that's all in red. Yeah. And it's written critical.
Yeah. I mean, we know from the Jockenstrokes that powering an engine down is not just a menial task, right? So.
I mean, I know there's a magic unit storage on a designated room on the ship. Could we find it here and maybe try to refuel this thing?
There's several crates nearby that all have these very black bars about that big.
Right.
I don't know if
labeled
this is a good
magic
idea.
units.
Not knowing what to do and throwing like literally fuel in the fire.
Can I figure out sort of where to put these things with my knowledge of Gnomish and general intelligence? Sort of looking at it, can I figure it out?
Well,
We've never laid eyes on one of these things before.
yeah, you
No,
so it doesn't look like there's
very
a
smart.
it doesn't look like there's a slot anywhere.
No.
The only opening into this device looks to be that giant maw which you open and close. That is at gnomish height, so arguably it would be designed to open and close. It's also been designed very well so that it opens very easily and then it closes quite completely. But there's no bar-sized slot or hole or that's it. It's just this big wall of metal. It's got lots of rivets.
It's like a coal engine. You have to shovel them in.
Right.
Yeah.
Except that you don't know what a coal engine is, right?
Right.
Aside from that.
Do we want to just...
I know I'm just a doctor, but might I inquire why you turned it off in the first place?
It's not turned off, I think.
The lights were flickering as we came down
In
here.
any way whatsoever.
Power has been dropping for a while now.
Well, yes, but why?
Yes.
Why did you close the door? Why are we interfering with the engine at all?
Jorik looks at Blackston that is kind of lying in his arms and is like, that's why.
What?
Blackston is not doing well. He was being exposed to this engine. That's why we closed it.
That's yes.
I don't think it's usually open. And obviously these creatures had opened it and they were messing with it.
Is Blackston conscious?
Yeah.
No.
I know. Oh, you're not conscious? You sleeping?
He decided not to be.
I think it's thematically next. It's fun.
All right. It's overwhelming. All right.
This is what's so much to me.
Oh no!
Yeah.
It's at 7 now.
Look, we need to do something. I don't like that little red bar collar thing. That's obviously bad. Generally for the fact that we have lots of really dangerous business in here. I don't want this thing to... I don't know what happens.
Well,
but
you
I
guys
want to
sort
find
that out. I need to dissect one of these things because that's not a gnome.
Just fine.
Or is it?
Find the handle.
Not done.
That would be a reveal.
It's called
Might I suggest that you gather up the sleeping beauty over here, you open that door again so this thing doesn't blow up, and then we all leave and figure this out.
This is like, I don't think this is some kind of... I don't think that's a safety valve. I think it's been going down for quite a while and it's going to keep going down unless we refuel it. This is magical energy units. Magic units. Whatever it was called. Sorry.
Moonits.
Magical units.
Magical units.
Yeah.
This is magical units, which has been going down. It's just the fuel that normally goes into these things.
All right, fine. Refuel it. I tried to drag Blackston away from the engine because he's apparently not feeling well.
Right. Not typical at all.
Right. I'm going to grab one of the bars.
Right.
Unless anyone has any definite objections.
I have all sorts of objections, but we have no time. Go on.
Exactly.
So you lift up the hatch just enough to chuck a bar in.
Yep.
All right. As you lift up the hatch, that energy washes out. You chuck the bar in and you pull us down. There's an audible whoom, and that gauge suddenly bounces all the way up to 17.
Well done, Edrison.
Lights start to pop into place all over as the engine starts to kick up.
I saw my life flashing before my eyes. I have had so many good naps, you guys. So much good fish. I would never not do a single thing differently.
Con, can you...
Yes.
I don't know. There was that one cardboard box at one time that you said was not a good idea to sleep in.
That's true. That was not a great one.
All right.
I get my smelling salts out of my doctor's bag and wave them underneath Blackston's nose. Come on, Sleeping Beauty. No time for snapping.
Jorik leans on something and just relaxes.
All right.
Okay, I'm deep in gnome gut, but I don't think it's a gnome. I'm
All
like
right.
taking off the skin and then having a look at the lower mandible. But it's easier here. I've just got to find the answers out, and then we'll know, won't we? And then we can chuck it in there, and
so
it'll
give me a
burn.
medicine check, if you please. Blackstone, you wake up with these smelling salts. It's difficult not to. Ammonia is something that's not particularly pleasant.
13.
All right. Your brief dissection of these organs and things. You were of the strong opinion that these creatures are not natural. There are organs in here that they look like they've changed. They've growths on them. There's a bit of a liver. You can see some of it's rotted away, but another side of it, another component to it, the islets of Langerhans, if you like, have started to expand.
Your pancreas.
Pancreas, whatever. It's biology from 500 years ago. So those bits and pieces have all started to. It looks like they've mutated to bring about this creature, because there's internal organs, which is definitely gnomish, without a doubt, definitely gnomish. But most of the organs have transmuted and changed and have mutated by some means into.
So due to its weird adaptation to the way it metabolizes glucose and produces insulin, this creature's gone a bit odd.
That's her professional opinion. Right?
Oh, no shit.
What gave it away? The scales?
I'm trying to work out the scales. Could be something about the way it processes the glucose, which is the basic energy. Give me a minute.
I was sarcastic.
All right, so that's what you're doing. What is everybody else doing?
Looking through pockets, trying to find notes, things, orders.
So here's a question.
Right.
You said they were still a half gnome, half whatever.
Yes.
How much is left of one of the faces of these things?
On the one that you skewered, his face is still gnomish. The back of his head, his hair is all fallen out, and his scalp is starting to bubble away. But
I get out a pouch, and with a gulp, I cut his head off.
All right, and you put it in this bag.
Right.
That's a grim trophy indeed. Right, absolutely.
All right.
You have that. Con?
I wave smelling salts in front of his as he wakes up, stands up, cuts it off.
It's at that point that Connor's busy watching this, takes a sip of the smelling salts, corks them up, and then sits up.
Perhaps,
I've never done that before.
What's in those salts anyway?
Yeah.
Glad to see you're feeling better, Blackstone.
No, I
What's the
don't.
salt self?
I really, really don't.
What's
All
going
right.
on? Well, now that I know it's not a contagion, we're safe to return to our ship.
Yes.
I suppose.
I have to ask something, Guy. Did Jorik see anything into the engine earlier before Blackstone closed it?
No, you were never close enough to get there, yeah.
Okay,
I
good.
would now then say two things. First, the energy emanating from this monstrosity is evil, is unholy.
Really?
That way you felt so bad.
So it's just some kind of, have they corrupted it in some kind of way?
I have an idea why that might be, but it is just theory. Maybe it was a mirage itself, I don't know. But I can no longer sit by and have unknown technology worked with, because I think I saw the visage of a dragon, look out of the fires and trying to pierce my soul.
Whoa.
Sorry, let me get this straight.
What?
You looked into the furnace and you saw a dragon.
You can hear Jorik starts hyperventilating.
Right. Do you mind? I just want to have a look at your eyes.
Yeah,
Just
his
look into
eyes.
the light.
They seem fine.
How many fingers? If you could just follow my fingers with your eyes. Come on, Blackston, humor me. You may have taken it.
Right.
Do you think that they were here because they were trying to wake it up?
No, I think it is the technology itself.
What do you mean?
This is why no one's allowed near it, isn't it? I mean, if it was just an ordinary engine, there wouldn't be a problem. I've always wondered.
Do you think that the energy that's fueling this engine is some kind of...
I'm not a gnome. I'm not a technician.
No, what I'm saying...
I just know what I saw. I just know what I felt. And I know what Jockenstoke said to me when I spoke very, very firmly with him once before.
What did he say?
Con, you know that I want to know what's going on with Sector 13 because of the maps.
Yes.
That is why I interviewed the little shit. And he I put him on the spot where his allegiances lie. And he said his allegiances lie with us, with the ship, and with the Order. Roughly in that order. And he said he would lead us to Sector 13. But he made me promise not to kill every last gnome I'll ever come across from what I will see there.
Oh, no.
That does not sound reassuring.
Okay.
That sounds like we're going to have... Okay, you might not have to kill every gnome that you, from what you see there, but we might have to.
So
I think at this point, I will not longer stand by, not knowing what is going on in the bowels of our boat.
No, neither will I.
Yeah, no,
I
I'm
stand up
with you on
and
that.
I go over to the engine and I open the hatch and I look inside.
Jorik shouts, "Stop!"
As Con wrenches open this engine, that magic just washes out over everybody. And is it your imaginations? Is it your paranoia? But it feels like it's a slimy web that's now sort of brushing over you, that cobweb.
Jorik dives behind something.
Jorik just goes, I'm out. No! All right, Con, as you open it up, you just look into those flames and they're busy burning. You can see that magic bar that Adricite chucked in there is busy burning away brilliant green flames. But on the other side, it looks as if this chamber is far bigger than it would initially appear. And at the far end, it looks like it opens out onto this dusty plain, this barren wasteland, but standing there, watching you, fixated on you, is this large dragon. And it just glares at you.
I want to sort of peer in as well from behind the door.
Yes, you see this dragon
cat just
glaring back. And
the gates. The engines are gates.
Slam! Slam!
Gate to what?
To the prison dimension, to where the dragons are. Oh, gods!
Can you just trust me in the future?
Some things have to be seen, Blackston.
No, that was very useful. That was not just a dragon inside an enclosed space. That was a gate to another place.
You saw a dragon. Do we have to kill an
Yeah. No.
I sort of turn around, wander away from the engine, sort of looking rather distractedly at my order sigil on my palm. Sort of sit down next to Blackston, look at him for a moment and go, huh. Well.
Oh, gods, this explains Kruvix.
Oh my god, what the
This explains Kruvix.
What the
the eye cells, the temple, they were nothing but scribbles and drawings of them defeating the dragons. Kruvix are coming after us because he thinks the order is dragons. He wants the... Oh, gods. Is he on our side?
Jorik looks up from behind the
he's done
pipes.
anymore.
and
He's
says,
dead.
What's he on our side? Are the ice elves? Do they know more about the order than we do?
We're cooperating with the Rexter.
Did we not make the right life choices?
No idea.
I'm saying being right here, right now, finding out what we now know is kind of exactly the right life choices.
I would look and just say,
I'm not making
we know they worked with the Rexter and they wanted to bring them back. So I highly doubt that they were the good guys.
Yeah, no, right. Sorry, I haven't been here for all of that.
Don't worry, it happens when you
You can put the tinfoil hat off your head now.
the lead
Fits
hat.
me very well.
Like with ears poking out.
Yes, holes for the ears. Seriously though, that explains why there's so much power, I suppose.
And that explains my visions as well.
Does that
might
mean
have
if
been
we go
playing-
onto the ship and we go into the engine room and we look like how we just did, like how Con and Adrasai just did, will we see a dragon through our engine room?
I think so.
Yeah, it looks that way.
I think this is a very interesting hypothesis, but I think we do need to turn it into an actual theory that is peer assessed and therefore
He wants
established.
us to go into the engine room of our own.
Yeah, no, we
That's
should.
what I said. I think we need to talk to Sector 13.
Yes.
I think we need to talk to
We
our
need to know if it's just this engine or
Yes.
if it's all the engine.
And I just lift a head, bag. Yes, I will speak to the gnomes.
Do we think all the gnomes look like that under their...
I
this
don't
point?
want to be a buzzkill or anything, but our oracle will have overheard this discussion, and the order probably knows about our discovery.
Would they?
Is that good or bad?
Has
maybe
anyone-
she thought about dragons, but then our hands would be a little dry.
Yeah.
Saw a dragon.
To be
Yeah,
fair,
yeah.
we're in
But
the
this is
lead
the
light
actual
room right
question.
now.
This is an actual question. Like, we are in a room, but that didn't work. That wasn't a problem in the Drow Republic, so it should still work, right? But it was like me concentrating on it and being like this. So, and we never really know how much they could really get. Like, in the past, it meant like they couldn't listen, like mind reading the entire time. It was more like oh shit, dragon is about, and then they basically light our thing. Is our
Surely
thing?
that's going to be the first thought that goes through Blackson head is, oh shit, a dragon.
Yes, of course. So the question now is,
Do we suddenly go?
Your hands are not illuminated.
Or is the order in on it?
Interesting.
Of course they're
Yes.
in on it.
and of course they're in on it.
Yeah. But the
Yeah.
question is, does the order know that Section 13 has dragons in the engine? Or
Good question. I would be hard pressed to think that no one in the entire structure of the order knows anything about this. I no, it's unlikely. Someone up to the higher levels must be aware of this.
So we're all dragon collaborators. What the?
And I just and so that's ended. Flashbacks, the adventures.
Everything rather complicated.
Well, right now, as far as we know, us 5 are the only people we know aren't.
She's got a point. They've
That
got a
makes me
point.
feel
They've
so
got
much better.
The other
That
thing
makes this very serious.
Now, cue A-team theme.
Like, what do we go? Do we go rogue here and investigate the Order of Hastari?
We
I
have
think
to.
first things first, we need to go
Section
to our
13.
ship.
Let's
and
go back
check
to
out
Windswift
the
and
engine
speak
room.
to the gnomes.
Is this-
Maybe first thing we
break
wait
the
for this arsehole to wake up and give
No,
it.
I think we should just take him to the boat and maybe kick the shit out of him while we let the other gnomes see, so they get the idea of what's going on.
I like that.
Did I answer the question specifically and truthfully?
Sounds like a good idea. Let's go back to the ship.
I
I
would be
don't
more
want to
comfortable
stay
if
near
you
this
got
thing
this
any
person.
longer. And Jorik walks off.
Do we really want to bring a bile pus ball onto a boat, though?
No.
Con can deal with that.
Mm.
given a glass bathtub, I guess.
In a glass, like
Just put them in a big bowl.
Just give him one of those drinks that's for heartburn. It will do fine.
It'll be fine.
It doesn't affect
Some
wood.
cold tablets, it'll be fine.
It doesn't affect wood.
just the giant bottling jar, like where
As we've already seen.
Yeah.
Right.
But the ship is pretty safe.
Yeah, but we are not.
Mm.
And-
Come on, let's go.
and- okay.
Okay.
I still have concerns.
I have lots
so
of
many
concerns, but I want to get off
concerns.
this fucking island.
There's a very simple solution to this. We'll just dangle him off the side of the ship whilst we speak.
That would work on an intimidation level as well.
Unless he can somehow cut the rope off and fall to his death and avoid.
You have levitation.
I do, but
That
yeah.
would require it to have the use of its hands, presumably.
So
Let's
are
get
you
back to-
now moving out of the
Yeah.
space? Or are you
Yes.
still
Let's find something to like drag this thing on, like an improvised sled or something, so we don't
It's a
have
gnome. I take it on my shoulder.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's a gnome.
Yeah, it's not huge. All right. So who's in the front?
Jorik's already
That's me.
well
Yeah.
ahead of us.
All right. So Jorik, you're in the front, and
Ready!
Wow.
Ready?
Yeah. So you get to the main doorway that leads out into this corridor, and as you're getting closer and closer to it, you start to become aware that there is a different kind of shouting happening now from the prison facility itself, and
Oh no.
it's the kind of shouting that's a cheering rather than an anger and aggression.
Oh shit.
I'm not in the mood to find out. I'm leaving.
Speak to the hand. I'm out. I'm out.
I do not have time for you.
No. Bad.
We keep walking though.
So on our
I
way
keep walking.
outside, while I'm still fairly certain that we are under us, I would take a look at Adrosai and say, "What are we gonna do about the boat then?"
Good question. I did notice when we were in there that the thing I met inside looked very much like those things there. But considering that suddenly we don't know if we can trust the order at all, I'm more inclined to hang on to it.
I'm not.
We still need to know what it does and what it is. The plan stays as far as I'm concerned.
Just stay out of it.
I'm not going in the book!
You were
God!
going into the book, right? Were you?
Sorry, what?
Yes. Okay.
What? No, I didn't hear what you said.
It's fine. It was perfect.
All right.
As you step out into that corridor, the lights have come on again. And now what becomes apparent is that there are prisoners running from cell to cell, and they are busy wrenching open those doors, letting other prisoners out. So they're cheering. It's like, yeah, come on, my cell's next. Come on, here, come to me, come here. Because the lights now illuminated and back up, shining quite brilliantly.
How
did they get out? We're surrounded by incompetent assholes.
Yorick,
Yes.
I don't think that's our problem anymore. If they step in
No.
our way, we kill them. Otherwise, I'm leaving.
Okay.
I agree.
Yep, I'm in for that.
All right, so that's the plan. It's a fighting retreat back to the
Gauntlet? Is that a gauntlet event now?
That's just what it is. All right, okay, great.
Fuck everyone.
I'm just gust of wind
Time to get out of here.
Make a corridor.
Right, so you
In
throw
which case-
gust of wind up. All right. So,
Wonderful.
yeah, you're busy fighting your way through. All right, so what I'm going to ask is, I need from everybody, give me a combat action. So whether it's an attack or a spell or whatever. Yes, Con.
To facilitate this barging through, I'm going to turn into a brown bear.
All right, so this big brown bear moving through.
So you just need a roll, or we tell you what to do.
just give me a roll and the outcome. So it's like, okay, I'm making an attack roll and my outcome is X, or I'm doing this, I'm casting a that, and from there.
Natural 20!
Yeah.
I am shooting arrows at everything that gets in my way.
All right, you're
90.
Legolasing the entire situation. Okay, Brown Bear is just eating the entire situation.
I conjure up flaming.
It's a buffet.
And
Your
the next
flaming
minute,
sphere.
I'm going to do a
you-
flaming sphere from the inherent power inside me, and off it goes around the room.
Lovely. Okay, so you're basically circling this flaming sphere around you guys? Is it?
Oh, it's like one of those video game shields.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I
running
was
around
actually
us.
thinking it was more like ping-ponging around in front of us to keep it away.
Right. Got you. Okay, so that's Saket and your flaming sphere. All right. And the DC for that is 13, right? Okay, so that's a success, that's a success, that's a success. Adressai, what are you doing?
I'm going to use the gust of wind to sort of just push anyone away that comes too close. And I rolled a 16. I just want them away.
16, all right, that's absolutely fine.
God, Adressai is the nicest person.
Blackston?
So
No,
I
that's
thought
the
about.
most
I think,
efficient thing I have.
I think about just like murdering everybody. He's not in the mood for murdering. Well, he is, but not them.
Right.
So I think I rolled a charisma because that's basically the ability modifier for it. I want to use command and just command them to step out of my way.
Nice.
Get away!
Right.
No!
I like it.
Bad.
I like it. Okay.
No hitting.
And I rolled a 22, if that makes sense.
Oh, it does. It makes a huge difference. Okay.
Anything that doesn't listen gets peppered with arrows and flamed
It just gets
and eaten by a bear.
Yes.
We're making kebabs, she's frying them, the bear eats them.
Oh, no,
That's
no,
it.
no. I don't eat junk food.
We're not in the mood.
you mauling, flaming, firing, and just decimating your way through it. There are occasionally there's a rogue bandit who launches himself into the mix and sort of pulls at your hair or gnaws at you or tries to interpose themselves in this whole action. Yeah, it's just arrows, and darts, and that sort of thing. All right, so for this movement, you guys collectively, each of you will take 5 points of damage as you've just fighting, shouldering, crates and cage doors being thrown all over the place. It's just this absolute disaster zone that you are moving through. When you get to those big stone doors, you can see that they've been wrenched open and there's absolutely no sign of Freddy. But you can hear ahead of you this loud booming sound. It sounds like a wrecking ball is busy slamming into something. Do you choose to go that way, or are you going to go the alternative exit way?
Let's avoid Freddy, shall we?
Yeah, let's just go alternative exits. Just get out of here.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you kind of move away from that. You start moving back towards the other exit. The other exit has one of these doors, and you can see that the side of it has been splashed with that corrosive slime stuff. And what it's done is it's eaten away the panel where the hand was placed, and basically it's just melted the mechanism so the doors can be pulled open. And they have been pulled open, and you can see several individuals have escaped through that. It doesn't stop you, though. You kind of push your way through. You move your way through. You get into this tower, and you scale up inside of it. Every now and again, there's a bandit who's looking for a way out. He kind of turns. He screams rebellion against you, spewing out, dragons will rule forever type of thing, and then you just rip, shred, burn, and destroy him as he offers any opposition.
Did anyone else hear what they just said? Because what is going on?
Yeah.
Right. Remember, this
I
is
thought
an
this was just a
order
regular
prison.
prison.
This is an order prison. What do you expect?
Oh, yeah, no
Yes.
point.
So they are
Gentlemen,
shouting pro draconic stuff. You get to the top of this tower. Now, it is an alternative exit. Now, you can try, if you can think of a way, of summoning the Windswift. You can see that the Windswift is at that far tower on the other side of the complex. It's at least 300 yards away.
Jorik?
See, she's docked there. Or
I can try.
there is a walkway which extends from this tower right the way across the entire prison facility to the other tower. It's a run of 300 yards, and it passes over the very center of the facility.
And is there still an ash storm outside?
Oh, yes. But it's not raging. So that walkway is there. It's sort of swinging. It looks to be made out of chain with wooden planking across it.
Adversary, note now.
Yeah, I'm on it. I'm already writing. We've come to tower at X. I don't know. It's some kind of direction coordinates from where the wind.
There you go.
That's right. We're trying to get us here.
All right.
All right. Wish me luck.
Yeah,
Twang.
good luck. Okay, make
I'm just going to start writing another one, just in case.
Are there any, is there any wildlife of any sort around?
16? That's not bad.
Nothing flying. The volcano is in the distance, slowly spewing out that ash fall, if you recall.
No bats.
I wish it was the other dice, because that was 17. But
That you can see.
so 16 total.
You all watch the arrow sail up, and then it gets to its zenith, but it looks very short, and you can just see ash piling up against it, and eventually it kind of even loses its forward momentum, and it sort of just drops down onto the rooftop of the prison complex.
Let's go.
All right, let's move.
I cast
That's not going to work.
You cast daylight. All right.
Okay.
This brilliant illumination just opens
Oh.
out as you open up daylight. And as you're running across this walkway, it is designed for people to patrol on it. So it's not too rickety, but with 5 of you sort of running, it does have a certain amount of bounce to it. You are 400 foot above the level of the surface, which puts you about 100 foot above the roof of the prison. And from here, you can see, yes, you don't want to slip. You can see that atrium way down below you where the warden was so proud to have shown off his secret door. And you can see these brilliant flashes of blue lightning in that atrium. And standing in a little cluster, you can see the warden is standing there with his guards around him. And they're busy firing off these blasts of lightning at people that are just sort of charging at the atrium doors and that kind of...
Did you say 100 feet down?
Yeah, 100 foot down.
I say, dear warden, you wanted us to tell you when we're leaving. We're leaving. It's 120 feet.
He suddenly looks up and you see him... well, let's see what he does. As he looks up to see you running away, he just drops his staff, and you see this inmate just climb all over him.
Oh, no.
I'm so sorry.
Start ripping into him.
Are you though? Are you though?
His guards turn. Yep. And that's what they do. They turn and they fire lightning into the inmate on top of the warden. But of course, he's on top of the warden, so the whole thing just becomes electrified.
Just can't get the staff.
Yeah, so there's just this ball of lightning that opens up and the inmates close around. So by the time you kind of get to the far end of the walkway, the prison complex has gone silent. At the far end, so there's a bridge that spans across the entire prison complex. And then there's a third tower that's on a sort of an L shape. There is a walkway that goes out to that. And so you get to that sort of Y junction, if you like. You can go to the shorter tower, but there's no point. The ship isn't there. But there are a few people standing there. They've kind of climbed out to that area. And as they're going, can you all make perception checks, please, as you're running past them?
11.
Nope.
6.
15.
8.
15 too.
15. Blackson, what did you get? All right. So, Saket, you and Jorik hear a voice shouting quite loudly and quite clearly just one word, and that word is Miran.
Woman? Man?
Jorik
nails.
stops. Instantly.
All right.
We also bump into him.
Yeah. Sort of
What did it? I look over at the people. I hear from where it's coming, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And I dash over there.
You what?
Yeah, I dash towards it. Just.
All right. That's what the four of you see. Jorik is now running.
Where are you going?
With this ash.
What do I see?
Follow. Go after them, crazy man.
So I don't quite follow the situation. So we are on the other side of the rope bridge.
You're busy running across. So you're now more than halfway across. And the rope bridge forks. One carries on to the Windswift, and the other one goes to a shorter tower that sits almost over the administration building. And it's from there that this very large, very bald human shouted a word which on the wind only Saket and Jorik heard. And that caused Jorik to stop, turn, and then just start running down that passageway.
Jorik, you're going the wrong way.
Go on, I'll catch up.
All right, go on. Going to
I'm following Jorik because somebody's going to look after this.
the Windswift is leaving. You know this, right?
The Windswift is leaving! We are leaving! I've had it with this prison.
We are turning this prison right around, young man.
All right, Con, are you going with the group?
Hesitant from I stood there with my staff blazoning daylight.
Like, split the party.
Right.
Well, I better actually. You know what? I think I'm gonna keep Blackston from taking off without the rest of the group. I follow him.
All right, so you're following Blackston Saket.
Saket is almost on Windswift already. And Con is going to fight with Blackston.
The Windswift is already leaving.
Bye.
Yeah, Saket's busy untying the ropes. Okay, good. Right, thank you. Fuck off. Okay, we're out. Yes, all right. Jorik, as you're running forward, you see this very large, probably 6'7", 6'8", very powerfully built man standing there wearing the prison fatigues of the prison of Knaxa prison. Bald shaven, very strong jaw, very strong face. And as he's approaching, he's like, I thought it was you. You are Jorik, are you not?
Who wants to know? And where's Miran?
He looks you up and down. You have a way off this rock?
If you answer my question, perhaps.
You get me somewhere safe. I tell you where your sister is.
My sister is in Drakenmore.
Yeah, sure. When did you last speak to her?
Fuck it, fine! Come here.
He strides forward. His men start pressing around him. Behind him, you can see that there's 6 sort of goons that he's obviously the leader of. He strides forward, holding his hand out to do the traditional Drakenmorian shake, gripping at the elbow.
So he has men, too.
Yes.
Well, he doesn't need the man to tell you where your sister is.
No.
I'm standing like a few meters behind Jorik.
I tell him, you, no one else.
Might mutiny his crew, though.
He looks at you. He looks past you at Adrasai. Adrasai, he gives you a very suggestive wink, and this grin spreads across his face. And he turns around back to his men. Sorry, boys. There's only room for one. That's me. The men immediately like, what do you mean? You said you were going to get us out. Yeah, well, now you're not. So get lost. I don't care. I'm leaving. He turns his back on them, and you can see one of them is reaching up to try and pull him away or off of the bridge.
Right.
And
I don't interfere.
you watch as they sort of tussle. This big guy just reaches back, grabs the person by the face, and you can see that his fingers have gone underneath the guy's jaw and into his mouth, and he just pulls him forward and rather badly struggles to lift him up, although he's trying to look impressive. The other guy is just flailing. He doesn't know what to do. And, well, there we go. Then this big guy just tosses him over the railing, and you watch as this fellow...
Cast feather fall on him.
And then stops, and then slowly drifts down. The big guy looks over at you. That is very cruel. I think I like you.
Jorg turns around and walks towards the boat. If you want to come along, you come along now. And
Sure.
How far away from Con am I?
Now you're
They were
about
still
200
running.
yards because you split that way. Yeah.
Praise the sun!
Just waving my thumb around, trying to get the ship's attention.
Yeah, I dash towards the Windswift. As soon as I get in range and see Con, I say with telepathy, I'm bringing a prisoner. Prepare Blackston, please.
Don't tell Blackston.
Please.
What am I, Blackston's keeper?
Well, you were the one running ahead to make sure that Blackston...
Yes, that's fine, because I'm the helmsman. I can do that.
Because I know he's the one that's going to object. Like, no, please talk to Blackston.
What? I'm hearing voices now.
All right, so...
Me, Jorek, you idiot.
Yes, so Ket, you get onto the ship. Lieutenant Ty looks at you. What's the status, Captain?
We're getting out of here.
We're going. We're getting ready to depart. So when everyone's
ready
aboard,
to
let's
depart.
go. And we need to talk. Yeah, we'll discuss that later. First of all, is everyone on board?
Absolutely.
What is Jorek doing? Is Jorek still pink?
No.
Okay.
Actually, no, he's not.
You can now see adversaries busy running forward. Following them is
There's not a
Jorek.
neon pink thing coming.
No. Following him is this very big, very muscular-looking bloke who is moving behind him with a fairly casual grace.
Oh, and apparently we've got a guest. Right. Just get ready to go, Lieutenant.
Absolutely, Captain. I really don't like being here. And from the front of the deck, you hear a voice, "Me neither." And you see Mios is busy shoveling ash off the deck as much as he can.
As soon as I get up on deck, I say, Lieutenant Ty, escort this gentleman to the brig.
Whoa.
Immediately.
Look, we're going to have to sort that out later.
There's no time to discuss in committee.
Just be on this one.
Who's
He's going to have to come on board for now, okay?
Moran, suddenly important.
You can arrest me.
Who is this?
I am a
I'll
good
I'll
friend.
tell you later.
Jorek.
Shut up. To the brig.
Right, you're a good friend of Jorek and he's speaking to you like that?
He's not a friend. Now get into the brig and shut up.
But Jorek, who is Moran?
Jorek walks off, escorting the prisoner, and says over his shoulder, "It's my sister."
Well, that's why I
He
didn't
looks
know.
behind him as he's walking behind Jorek. He looks back at the four of you. It's his sister.
I'm going with.
Yeah. And I hope Lieutenant Ty is listening to orders.
Yeah, she's
I
got
told her to get this prisoner in there.
Everyone is moving as quickly as they can. So, Con, you start to pull away from the tower. Would you please give me a piloting check? As you do so, a bunch of prisoners burst out of the tower doorway and start running towards the Windswift.
Time to go.
14.
14. She is so sluggish underneath all this ash. It's poor old Mios has been shoveling for all his worth, but it's obviously got into the flapper joints.
Prepare to repel borders.
What does it look like that they're coming up? Is it like a narrow...
It's that extended walkway that extends out of the bridge, out of the tower.
Yes. Can I just go stand at our end of the walkway and cast Gust of Wind again?
Right, so you're just sort of blasting out wind. Absolutely. As assumedly you're standing on the Windswift as you're pulling away, busy doing your gust.
So sort of following it
into the sails.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, as we go away, it'll be angled, so they'll go off the walkway if they want to stay there.
That's it. So they're busy running forward. They bump into your wind. The first one, he kind of holds and starts pushing his way through. The second one just goes, and he gets blown off the bridge.
Featherfall.
The rest kind of back off a bit as they see this from happening. But there is still that one who's kind of pushing against your wind. He's moving forward. And then his foot slips and he falls down onto the bridgeway and his hands grip the edge as he slides over. And he kind of holds there as your wind is busy buffering him. Do you drop it?
Well, if no one else is
There isn't
coming.
anyone else, no.
No, then I'll drop it.
All right, so then he climbs back up again and he watches as the Windswift slowly pulls away.
Bye. Wave at him.
Is what you get.
You're a cruel cat.
As the Windswift pulls
Actually.
away. And on that note, we bring our adventure to a close. There we go. Thank you for watching this interesting escape, perhaps. I'm not sure what we'd call this event. If you don't stay with us for the review afterwards, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you again next week when the Adventures of the Windswift continues. But for those who do stay for the review, let's do that review. Quite an interesting episode, I think.
It was completely boring.
It was completely boring. Yeah, absolutely. I've slept through most of it. Started with Dice Suggestion. That's number 3. That's you, Jorik. Tobias. Some interesting role-playing coming from Tobias, especially towards the end there. What's up with that?
Wow. Yeah. Well, Jorik has been under pressure, of course, with his psychic problems the entire last 2 episodes, more or less. He really only started to calm down after the old engine incident. And then we just get out of there and someone screams his sister's name. And if there's something that Jorik is more protective of than the world, it's his sister. So I had to make a decision really on my feet, more or less. Because obviously it was you as a GM throwing out a plot hook or something. And the correct decision would probably be to just fuck off and leave. But that wouldn't be as interesting, would it? So I decided to go for it and pulled him along, and Jorik is not liking this at all because he's breaking his own basically conviction. He's breaking his own moral code here. You do not bring anyone aboard the Windswift.
You've just left Heracan,
especially not a dragon worshipper, right?
Right.
Oh no, poor Heracan.
But at the same time, he's not interested in getting blackmailed or whatever. So it's like, get him to the brig. We'll solve this later. I just need to we need to get out of here. That's the priority. But I can't leave him here because, God damn it, if you've hurt my sister.
Right.
So that's why I did as I did. And at the same time, it's hard to make correct decisions in like an instant like that. But that felt like that was what Jorik would have done in this situation.
Right.
I think it's much more human, right? Like do these decisions like this rather than making them with like cold.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it would have been less plausible if you hadn't.
Yeah, that's also why I tried to answer relatively quickly, because I didn't want to give myself a lot of time to think about it. I would rather just do an instant decision of
Right.
Fine, come along.
Absolutely. From my perspective, you know, when you throw out these things, it's such a trick, right? Because you want to have adventures to sort of grow more from your guys' decisions than from anything else. I'm not very good at letting that happen. I kind of let these things evolve and drop a whole bunch of things for you to follow. So when I do something like this, the one benefit that I have is that it doesn't matter what you choose. I've got Mirren's
sister's already dead.
Right. To the point that if you had said no to him, which I think would have been the wrong call, to be honest with you. So I think you went with the right call. But if you had said no, I at least have now got the villain with Mirren's name floating out there. And you're
Yeah, you would have planted a seed in
right?
Yorik's mind,
Correct.
if nothing else.
So it's there, right? But sometimes there just is no subtle way of doing it. Sometimes you just have to drop that bomb and say, right, here's a character who knows about your sister. What are you going to do about it, right? But anyway, so that's my thinking there. Blackston, you went through quite a wonderful sort of series of emotions as well. Some revelations, some discoveries, perhaps some confirmation. I don't know. What's happening in your world?
I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Yes, similar to what Tobias said, that I think one thing that screams like calculated and like untruth to me, honestly, is if you always play your character the same way and he never behaves erratically or anything like this. So that's why I also agree that obviously it's pretty, as a metagaming perspective, it's a pretty obvious, like the Dungeon Master, here, please look at this kind of situation going on, right? But also just from a role-playing perspective, I don't think that it's like fighting with the metagaming here at all, because yes, you have these important characters. At least if you have a like three-dimensional character, you should have these important characters to your character, from your player character. And so I think that's an absolutely fine decision. Going back to my character now, is that he is not happy in how he was treated for a lot of things that kind of came out, and still not being told the entirety of the truth, and all the kind of, like, he went to the Order with the expectation to be a hero, to be the knight in the shining armor kind of situation, where truth and such things care. Obviously, in real life, I know that people of power, positions of power, always breed like corruption and such things. But that isn't Blackstone. So, seeing all of these kinds of subterfuge, has been kind of working on his conscience and on his commitment to the Order quite a bit. And now having basically not only the sneaking suspicion anymore that there's something wrong with the gnomes, but basically the evidence at this point, then kind of made him snap in that regard, and just like really being pissed off.
This is Blackstone right now. Okay. Line up the gnomes.
Line up your asses.
Right. So from that regard, like it was just too much in that regard, and he's not gonna go on a killing spree now because of it, perhaps, but not just solely because of it. But certainly, what's gonna happen is the Juckenstokes gonna have a very bad time.
You mean more than they already have on this poor ship?
Well. And he's gonna, I mean, I already did mention this, but he's gonna want to find out what actually is going on, because it is not quite clear, and he's done with being lied to. That is done. So if the Order is not gonna come clear there, however the way that is, then he's gonna leave the Order at this point. Like, it's not compatible anymore. And just from a player here, I know this is a very like absolute thing, and it is usually something you shouldn't do. But I'm fine if this character then leaves and maybe becomes a villain in the future. That would be fine with me as a player if it isn't compatible with the other player characters here. Right? That's fine with me. But like at this point, then that is that. And I think that would also be a very interesting character development.
Right.
I honestly think that most of us are with you on that. or most of our characters are with you on that.
No, I'm just saying. Also, I mean, we do this.
Is very confused right now. I mean, like, because she joined the Order looking for like a second family, and then the Order is not what it was. So
right.
Yeah.
And I just want to make this very clear, because this is also some sort of advice for viewers, right? And just like you making these absolute decisions that basically drags everybody along. Usually, you shouldn't do this.
Right.
That's just why I said it this way.
Right. Adressai?
Yes. First of all, I want to say that I assumed that since that tower where me and Turek were at was right above the administration building, that the poor fellow would land on a roof. But that we were sort of above a structure he could land on. So I didn't mean to slowly roast him over the volcano or something. That was not my intention.
Right.
I just figured, well, I mean, they would have put these people here because they wanted to keep them alive, not because they wanted them dead. So it's better to sort of, just...
Right.
Pedifall. Oh, I didn't think of. I'm so sorry.
You just see the wind and carry.
Oh no! Ooh! Ow! No. No. That said, Adrusai, it's not just a mean streak. Let's say that Adrusai is neither lawful nor good on the chart. But holy crap, this episode was kind of just
Yeah.
So much stuff, and it was not like necessarily like super new things, because we've known that the Order has shady shit in it for a while. We've known
that dragons in their closet.
Yeah, we've known that Sector 13 is shady as hell for a while, but like this.
The characters didn't, right? First of all.
No, exactly, and like this idea that the engines, that definitely is an Adrusai's mind now, that I don't know if it's true or not, but that the engines are working because they are like leading to this realm of terrifying power with all the dragons in it, and it's like, this could be better. Honestly, right now it's just such a situation of chaos and confusion that Adrusai's just needs more info, like need to know what's going on and need to know more before I can make any kind of decision about what's going on. But I mean, if it turns out that the Order is doing shitty things and is actually like working with dragons or doing horrible things, then I mean, Adrusai's here because they want to take the dragons out and stop the dragons from ever coming back. They're not necessarily dependent on the Order for that.
Right. Interesting. Saket?
Saket is in a bit of that, well, let's put it psychologically. She's an orphan who has gone off to find a new family and knowledge, and now that's all been blown apart. So psychologically, she's not in a good space.
Oh, you still have us.
Yes, but like the whole reason for joining the Order is now... And I guess it's probably like I don't know, I guess like a Marine turning back from the war or something. Complete disillusionment, post-traumatic stress and confusion and nightmares and
Right.
and also that dying need to know what the fuck is going on. And probably experimentation and dissecting more gnomes and just, we have a hypothesis here that we need to check. And
we still have that passed out dragon prisoner thing.
That's right. Yep.
So, yeah, there's a lot going on. And a lot happened in this episode. A lot.
Right.
And I got to roll a dice a few times.
You did, right.
And lose a few.
Con, wrap up from you.
Wow, this has been a significant episode, and I have to with Simon. Sorry, I'm just like wrestling not to say Blackstone, but yes, I guess I agree with Blackstone as well. But yeah, for Con, I mean, Con very much has this was an avenue to help, to be a positive force in the world and right some of the personal wrongs he's, from his own history. In the process, and since graduating from the academy, there's been a sort of steady disillusionment with all the idealistic claptrap that he graduated with, to the point now, after opening that furnace and seeing the dragon in there, that it may be a case that depending on how events unfold from here on, Con may walk away from the Order, which is complicated in and of itself. Because
you don't, right?
No one leaves the Order.
Or actively start fighting against it.
So could that mean...
We're the Rex Takari.
The Rex Takari were not as wrong as they might have seemed.
Don't know, because they were still talking about bringing the dragons back. So
yes.
Maybe we're just going to be a rogue alliance on our own.
So, on the one hand, we've got people who want, the way it seems to me is on the one hand, we've got people who want the dragons back as overlords and masters, which is not great. And then we apparently have those who are supposed to be protecting us from the dragons have been tempted by the power on offer and have succumbed to that temptation and are now as corrupt and unreliable and possibly dangerous as the enemies that they were supposed to be opposing.
Interesting. What do you think? What is your theory? These poor captains have been given this predicament that they find themselves in. Should they go and slaughter all of the gnomes for being deceptive, weaselly little dragon-skinned bastards? Or should they do something else? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Give us your theories on what's going on. Anyway, thank you everybody for participating. I do just have a personal question. I know that we're going over time here, but what did you think about the breakout? Once you had decided to leave the prison, I had the option of making you have to fight through different groups, but I didn't feel that was necessary. So I did those rolls just to sort of determine how successful you were. You all rolled spectacularly well. So
yeah.
Horde fighting is never fun. So that was I was perfectly fine with how you handled it. It was still an epic moment in story, but we didn't have to do all the rolls.
Yeah, and not only that,
perfectly fine.
We made the decision to leave as a group, so it was sensible that we didn't waste time like trying to save the warden, who then.
No one seemed to like the poor warden.
Yeah, I know.
Save Captain Bentine. I thought.
I mean, he's still standing guard of the maximum security. That's actually something I thought about, but that's.
I would have liked to have rescued Heracan, but it didn't seem plausible.
No.
So something that I thought, what I thought about it is, I think it was the right decision to not make kind of the sluggish fight, because that's something that 5th edition doesn't really handle very well, and also the goal wasn't very exciting for that. Like a gauntlet event, I think computer games handled far better than like D&D. Right. I think I would have handled the actual thing still a little bit differently. I wouldn't have actually made anybody roll. I actually would have just given each person like a scene to describe and how we went through it, basically. Just really giving away their own kind of control over how it went and just saying, okay, so this is going on, you know the situation. I trust you as players at this point, or don't, I don't care. And now you decide what's the problem that you come across. You know roughly what the situation is. How do you solve this? And then make everybody basically just decide a thing. Because I think I think the end effect was roughly the same, like taking 5 damage, like whatever.
Right.
Right.
Correct. No, I think that was cool. All right, good. Thank you for your inputs. Thank you for watching. And we'll catch up with you again next week when the adventures of the Windswift continues. Goodbye.
Or today.
Bye-bye.